Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a pure Centurion deck profile. Now obviously the Centurion archetype is not yet released, but it will be out pretty soon. So I'm going to do a bit of an overview of the deck kind of while I go. Now I know most Centurion lists you'll see with the Horus cards. At the moment I'm not choosing to play the Horus engine as it does require quite a few discards, and this is not a deck that really benefits from discarding cards. So whilst yes, you get the level 8 bodies, you don't really benefit nearly as much as you probably could from doing other things with the deck. But like I said, this is going to be a pure build. I don't think that pure is necessarily going to be the best build of the deck, but you have so much room for non-engine that I kind of wanted to see this as a starting point. I see this deck very similar to kind of the Chimera branded stuff. One card combos, lots of non-engine, really like unassuming end board, but of course like we can King Calamity lock pretty easily with just the one card setup as well. So to start off with, we have Primera. You would play her at 3 copies certainly. This is the deck's kind of tuner, and it's got an effect on normal and special summon that it can add a Centurion card from deck to hand, which is really nice. And then if it is treated as a continuous trap during the main phase, it can be special summoned, which is really good. Obviously, continuous trap means it can be used on both your opponent's turn and your turn. And then it does have another protective effect that if it is treated as a continuous trap, level 5 or higher Centurion monsters cannot be shredded by card effects. So that's nice to protect the synchros. But yeah, otherwise, main thing is that it's a level 4 tuner, and it can add any Centurion card on normal or special summon, which is fantastic. It's 1 card full combo. We also have Trudia, which is another 1 card full combo. On normal summon, it can place, not on normal summon, sorry, just during the main phase, it can place both itself and a card and a Centurion monster from hand or deck into your spell trap zone as continuous traps, which does allow you to, depending on where you have, so if Trudia is the only card you have, so again the 1 card combo, it can place itself and Primera from the deck into the spell trap zone. Then you can special the Primera and you can search from there, which again is a full combo. And then when it is treated as a continuous trap, you can special summon it and you can choose to increase its level by 4. You don't often need to do that. If you've got access to the next card, which is M at 6, you don't really need to do that. But it certainly is an option, which is fine. M at 6, playing it a 1, it is kind of like a brick. It's not really something you want to see in your hand, but when it's in your spell trap zone, similar, it can be special summoned, and in your opponent's turn, if it's in the hand or graveyard, which this is where it does come up, you can target a Centurion monster you control, place it in the spell trap zone as a continuous trap, and then special summon the M at 6. So often what you will do is you would summon out like the Trudia on your opponent's turn, you would use M at 6 to put it back and then summon itself. The benefit to that is that you get the Trudia back into the spell trap zone as more follow-up. So like your engine kind of infinitely loops itself, which is really nice. And yeah, they're the monsters. We're just playing those 7. Yeah. Going into the spells, the field spell is another 1 card full combo. In the main phase, if it was activated this turn, you can send a card from hand to the graveyard and then place a Centurion monster from deck face up in spell trap zone as a continuous trap. So what you're doing is you would use stand up Centurion to place Primera. Then Primera could summon itself and search for Trudia. And then yeah, you could normal summon the Trudia because this wasn't normal summoned, it was special, and then go from there. Otherwise, you could, if you're starting with Primera, it would be a normal summon of Primera to grab stand up Centurion, using its effect to put the Trudia into the spell trap zone, summon it, put it back, bring out the M at 6, and you go from there. So these cards kind of all just interchangeably see each other, which is really good. It itself cannot be destroyed by opponent's effects while you control a Centurion monster card, which is nice. And then the other effect that's really good is if a monster is special summoned, you can immediately after its effect resolves synchro summon a synchro monster using monsters you control as material, including a Centurion. So this is going to be one of our kind of main disruptions because this is how we're going to get to the Calamity lock on our opponent's turn. Then we have Emblema of Oath, and again, a lot of these names, again, we don't necessarily know what they're going to be, but this is another, again, we'll say 1 card full combo. The deck has lots of them. It's really, really strong. It's a quick play, and then it's got 2 options that you can kind of activate. The first one is to place a Centurion monster from deck face up into spell trap zone. You're locked into Centurion monsters from the extra deck while you control a face-up card with the same original name as the placed card. So it does have that lock there, but it's actually the second effect that you would be using, or I find myself using more often, which is just to set a Centurion spell trap directly from the deck, because you can just set stand-up Centurion to the field zone and go from there. That's your 1 card full combo as well, without having to lock yourself. So that's also really nice, because you always want access to the field spell, just for that second effect as well, to be able to synchro summon. It's really handy. Playing 1 Faith of Centurion, it's like a monster reward, except it places the Centurion monster from hand or graveyard into the spell trap zone, and then it's got a second effect. So if a Centurion monster is special summoned to your field while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it, then target the Centurion monster in your graveyard to place it into the spell trap zone. So you can kind of do the same effect twice, which is great. You're generally searching this in your opponent's turn. Like if you go first, you'll search this to then use going into turn 3 to kind of close out the game that way. Terraforming is another 1 card full combo, because you search the field spell and you go from there. I'm playing Truth. This should be the other trap card. So Truth Centurion is a counter trap by sending a face-up monster card from the spell trap zone to the graveyard. I think the other trap card is better. I just didn't proxy that. So that's what I would be playing, certainly, is the other trap card, because it's just activatable at any kind of point in the game. It does have a follow-up effect as well. So the trap card, it can banish itself and revive a Centurion synchro. So I think that's just all around stronger than Truth Centurion. But yeah, so that's the trap card there. Then that's pretty much it for the Centurion main deck side of things. The rest of the deck is just essentially like non-engine. So I've counted this as kind of like engine. So Prosperity is more or less going to hit a Centurion card. The maths is pretty high on that. Crossout Designator is just a pretty easy card to include when you've got so much space. And because I'm not playing any other kind of supplementary engines, so if you think about the, like, let's say Centurion, the branded Chimera deck, which again, this is what I'm kind of relating this one to in terms of play style. You've got the Mirror Sword Knight and the Branded Fusion, which of course are 2 kind of big lines of play, but the benefit is that if you've already got the Chimera stuff going, the Branded Fusion is kind of free to do other things. So this deck doesn't really have the like extra supplementary engine. So Crossout is really free just to kind of allow your combo to go through. And so it's kind of like acting a little bit like an extender in that it does stop a disruption from your opponent, to kind of allow your one main little combo to kind of go through. Also on 2 talents, obviously this doesn't stop the main combo from going through, but it like you could draw into more options to kind of keep playing. So that's those. Then I kind of really enjoy Fenrir in this deck, because again, we didn't have those extra engines. Fenrir kind of can carry by itself, like it's strong enough. The other thing I really like about Fenrir is that when you add the other copy of Fenrir to your hand, it becomes a really free discard for the stand-up Centurion, the field spell. So Fenrir, add Fenrir, and you could just get rid of it with the stand-up Centurion. Is fairly free, so that's always nice. Then again, this is always just going to be format dependent, but we've got Nib, Ash. I've got 1 Veiler just for the crossout, 3 Imperm, and then the type of card that no one is going to enjoy, but is really strong in this, of course, is going to be There Can Be Only One. You can play on this really, really freely. The kind of only stoppage to that is when you control like the Synchro, it's a machine, and the Emmet 6 is a machine as well, so like that does conflict. And like there's going to be like Crimson Dragon things that do also kind of conflict, but this is going to be your kind of fallback. So if the Crimson Dragon stuff gets interrupted, then you've got Floodgates, Hand Traps to kind of really just fall back on and still just kind of control the game that way. So we're just kind of trying to help ensure that we're able to keep playing. For the extra deck, we've got 2 of the Centurion Synchro. Now, like, this extra deck at the moment is like super free in space, so you could fit lots of other different things in it. If you were playing the Horus cards, of course, you'd have to dedicate space to some rank 8s, which, again, you've got heaps of space for. Another thing that I've been testing out is like Nadir Servant. We've got so much non-engine spots that you could easily fit in Nadir Servant. Like, you could go for like Winder and things like that. Nadir Servant's also nice because you can put something like the Lilith into their graveyard, which does actually allow you to special summon the Primera from the deck in the end phase, which is kind of cool. But back to the Legacia, your monsters with 2000 or less attack cannot be destroyed by battle, which is a nice kind of protection. And then when it is summoned, special summoned, not synchro summoned, so if you revive it with the other trap card, which again, it wasn't playing in the list, but if you revive with the trap card, you'd still get to trigger the effect. So you get to draw a card, and then you can destroy the one monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. And then during the end phase, you can place 1 non-synchro Centurion monster from a hand or graveyard face up in your spell trap zone as a continuous trap. Legacia is awesome for keeping your engine rolling, because in the end phase, you get to put the Primera back into the spell trap zone and then keep going, which is lovely. And the draw is really nice because that, again, the Legacia in your turn 1 does kind of fix your hand back up after you've discarded for the stand-up Centurion, the field spell. So you do get to kind of get that card back. The one conflict, of course, is going to be something like Pot of Prosperity. Generally, Pot of Prosperity is going to be the better card if you're not playing because you can see your engine. But yeah, obviously you can't draw a card if you've used Pot of Prosperity. It's also the reason why I don't like the Horus cards, because if you have used something like Prosperity and then you have to use the Horus cards and the Centurion cards to kind of play, set up a combo, whatever, you discard a lot of cards. So between like the Horus cards, you'd often discard it like twice. You can't draw back if you have to use Prosperity. Legacia, you don't get to draw back again to save what you've discarded from the stand-up Centurion. So I don't know, it just kind of plays a bit funny to me, but I know that's what most people are probably just going to do out the gate is the Horus stuff. Then, as I mentioned, we do have Crimson Dragon. We're trying to lock with Calamity because it's super free. It's part of our 1-card combo. I'm also playing Cosmic Blazer, which is just a negation that you can summon off Crimson Dragon. I'm also playing Red Supernova. I've thrown this in just for the sake of space. But if you're playing any other supplementary engine, this would be one of the first cards to be cut. The engine that I'm actually really keen on is actually Super Heavy Samurai. It does have a lot of bricks, but it makes your deck way more consistent with the new rank 4 that searches a Pyro, because you can search the Trudea. It's just something that I'm kind of more keen on. You get way more gas, which this deck doesn't have, because you really, again, this version of the deck that I've shown only has one mainline combo, which is to summon Legacia to set up the King Calamity, whereas like the super heavy stuff just gives you kind of more to do. These next 2 are really, again, they're very cuttable cards. Psychic End Punisher, you'd make it with a level 4 tuner, Primera and the Fenrir, Baron, Fenrir and Ash Blossom, but you could also, like, I'm anticipating a world where you use like side Bestials, so Baron is an easy inclusion there as well. You could also, like, you could steal a Bestial or whatever, and like Baron would come up there. So again, we've got space, so we put it in. Synchro 8s is something that we can certainly make. So I've got Omega, Scarlight, and Draco Berserker as just Synchro 8s that can be made very easily. And then we have the Super Star Slayer Typhon. This, again, we've got space, so we can easily facilitate this. Baguska, because we can make rank 4s, and then SP Little Knight as a 1-link monster that we can certainly make as well. So that's going to be it for the main and extra deck. I'll show off the 1-card combo and then just do some test hands. All right, so the 1-card combo can be achieved with any one of these 4 cards. Obviously, we've got 3 copies of each, plus Terraforming, plus Pot of Prosperity. So it's very easy to see this card combo. You're going to see obviously one card. So to kind of just show how these would all work, I'll show the combo first, just with Primera, and then I kind of show how, like, whether like the slight variations are, but they are just very slight. So it would be something like normal summon Primera, search for stand up, activate stand up, use its effect to discard a card from the hand to put the Trudea from the deck into the spell trap zone, summon it, use its effect to place itself back in the spell trap zone alongside Emmet 6. The Emmet 6 can summon itself, synchro summon into the Legatia. You would draw back a card, and then in the end phase, you put the Primera back into the spell trap zone. And that is the combo. It is 4 summons, so you do play under Nibiru. That's my my slight hesitation with Fenrir, is it does put a 5th summon onto the board. But yeah, it's a consideration to make. But the Fenrir, I don't know, you have to work out if it outweighs the Nibiru, like playing into Nibiru. So yeah, we've drawn a card, we've got Legatia, and in the end phase we get the Primera back. So we've got these 2 as continuous traps, which means on the opponent's turn we can use them. They have to be done in the main phase though. So our opponent does get some opportunities to disrupt this. They have to go, like, they obviously get turn player priority in the main phase to do things. So we kind of got to wait for them to do something in the main phase, and then we can summon both Primera and Trudea. So when we summon Primera, it will get its effect to search. Again, this is where I'd be searching something like the 1 copy of Faith. So that's now in our hand as well. We can summon out the Trudea. We can use the Emmet 6 in the graveyard to put the Trudea back and summon out. And again, you don't have to do this. When you summon Trudea, you can just treat it at level 8, and then that would, when on summon, you can trigger the field spell to synchro summon into Crimson Dragon. But again, if you keep the Emmet in rotation, it means the Trudea goes back into the spell trap zone and you've always got it. So then it would summon out, that would trigger Stand Up Centurion to synchro summon using our 2 monsters into Crimson Dragon. And then we're going to use Crimson Dragon, targeting itself, putting itself back, and we're going to King Calamity lock our opponent, just like that. And, you know, provided then we get to the end phase, the Legatia, once again, can put back the Primera. And that's kind of the basic 1-card combo. So that was with Primera. Now that you've kind of seen what that looks like, I'll put those off to the side. That was our draw. The very slight variations would be as simple as if you opened up Stand Up, it would be activate, put Primera into the spell trap, summon it, search Trudea, normal summon the Trudea. And then you can bring back Emmet 6, synchro summon, Legatia, and then phase together back. So that's the same combo. With Trudea, the Emblem of Oath combo looks exactly the same as the Stand Up Centurion combo. You just activate the Emblem and set the Stand Up Centurion, and then activate, and you've got the same combo again. And then with Trudea, it's normal summon Trudea, use its effect to put itself back alongside Primera, summon Primera to search Stand Up effect, discard the card, put Emmet 6 into the the spell trap zone, summon it, and you have Legatia again. So that's kind of the very slight variations on that 1-card combo. Now I'll do some test hands just so you can kind of see the consistency. Obviously we're going to be looking for big numbers of non-engine alongside like 1-card combo, or the 1-card combo cross-out designator is always good to kind of just ensure that combo goes through. And again, non-engine, we love seeing there can be only one. That always feels really good because it just has such a pretty a good effect on a lot of the meta decks that you'd expect to find. Now I know that this deck was very sorted, so we will have to shuffle it fairly well. Okay, so just some really quick test hands. I'm not going to play out the combos because it's only the one combo we have access to. We've got Imperm, Emblema, Terraforming, Effect Veiler, and Fenrir. So when we do have access to both, like to 2 things here, we can kind of hold the Emblema because this is really flexible. This can place a monster into the scale, again, I keep saying scale, into the spell trap zone, or it can set a Centurion spell trap. We've got the combo through Terraforming, and we've also got Fenrir to search the discard, so that's all just really nice. What we can then do is use the Emblema at the end of all that, if it all goes through, to set the trap card, whether that's the normal trap or the counter trap. It just gives you an extra layer of disruption. But 3 hand traps there. So we had the Veiler, the Fenrir, not a hand trap, but like we had the Veiler, Fenrir, and Imperm, so that's really solid. Plus our full combo. just opening up, like just having 2 hand traps is enough to, well, is generally enough to at least weaken the opponent a little bit. We've got Prosperity, Ash, Trudea, Prosperity, and Trudea. So obviously there's not a great hand. We've got the combo, and we're just going to try and prosp for something else. If we were going second, like we'd be looking for something like a Talents to try and break apart our opponent's board, or Fenrir, for example. But yeah, opening up multiples of cards there is not ideal. But we still have the 1-card combo there. Nibiru, the trap card, Ash, Emmet 6, and Imperm. So this is not playable. Imperm, Ash, Nibiru. Like if we were going first, obviously we're just gonna like pass on that. And if we draw into stand up and we're still alive, then happy days. But yeah, obviously not ideal to have no access to engine. And this is where having those supplementary engines kind of goes a long way. So for example, if you're playing like super heavies, you do get more copies through Motorbike and Wakashi. There we've got combo, we've got more combo, we've got Truth, Ash, and Nib. So we've probably got too much engine here. So we don't really want to open 3 engine slots. This could have been anything else and we would have felt a lot better about it. Because again, we've got the full combo, but then Emblema can set the trap if we didn't open it, which again, unfortunately we opened it, but nice to kind of have the option. And I'll just do one more. We've got Emmet 6, Emblema, Trudea, Truth, and Tactics. So again, 1 non-engine slot, lots of engine, but yeah. So that is going to be the start of my little Centurion profiles. I'm going to be doing a couple of these just because I really am looking forward to playing the deck. But definitely when this comes out in a little while, you should definitely check it out. Otherwise, thank you for watching.